What's up, guys? Welcome to Daily Dose of Reddit. This is your host, Zach, and today's subreddit is r/PettyRevenge. Pro-revenge, petty revenge. Hard, difficult, brain suck. This story's called Karen Gets Mad at the Way I Bag Her Clothes. Hi, y'all. First time posting a story. Forgive me for any formatting errors. Also dyslexic, so don't expect too much with grammar. Also, sorry for the length. I tend to be long-winded, I guess. I used to work at a discount department store. The name rhymes with boss. It's gotta be Popeyes. Possibilities. Wait, no, that's Campbell's Chicken Noodle Soup. What's Popeye? Louisiana Fast. Sorry. If you're unfamiliar, we buy the clothes from the big stores that don't sell, and we sell it for a fraction of the price. We actually had some decent stuff with price close to thrift store. The thing is, they make their money by understaffing and hoping to sell high volume. As we were understaffed, we didn't do the fancy folding and boxing that you might see at a Macy's. Just normal plastic bag like a grocery store. This story begins during the holidays when all retail is a nightmare. I was cashier and trying as hard as I could to get people through the long line, having worked 8 hours with no breaks. Remember, understaffed. When this woman takes a giant cartload of clothes, think 3-foot pile of clothes, and throws it on the counter. I'm trying to untangle this giant mess she made and scanning her items in. When I ask if they found everything all right, she cuts me off and says, "Can we hurry this up? I've got important things to take care of and I don't have all day to be here." Now, it was 10:30 p.m., 22:30 for you across the pond, on a Tuesday, so I can't imagine what big time events she was planning at being at. Then she looks down and practically screams, "What the F, you oaf? You're going to ruin everything. Take everything out of the bag and fold them nice." Now, a couple of things here. I'm a big dude. At the time, I was 19 and only working there because I lost my college football scholarship for D-line due to injury. Thanks, 6'4", 330 pounds, could run the 40-meter dash in 5 seconds, so not a flabby 330. Also, when I put clothes in the bag, I was a bit nicer than my coworkers. I tended to do the half-loose fold and set them in the bag. Nothing fancy, but trying not to seem aggressive. Again, big dude, so it's easy for people to assume aggressive. I was completely thrown off when she yelled. At this point, I dealt with annoying people, but not a full Karen. I've generally always been able to keep composure, so I took a deep breath and calmly told her, "I'm sorry, ma'am, but we don't do folding here. That tends to be more of a Macy's thing. I'm trying to be respectful of your purchase, though, I promise." Still unhappy, she then utters the song of her people. "I want to talk to your manager. I don't like your attitude." Luckily, I had my favorite shift on duty that night, who I had to call over, which sucked with this giant line of people backing up. She came over and told the lady the same thing, that we don't fold clothes here, and we try to be careful. Karen then wants my job for ruining her clothes and a discount for having to deal with this crap. My manager just tells her she does not see anything wrong, but she'll go over to CCTV later, her way of getting rid of them. I then give her the total and she pays, complaining the whole time. She then takes the bags and dumps them back on the counter, looks right at me, and starts folding her clothes neatly one by one. At this point, I was done. I was so tired and annoyed, but there was nothing I could do. She just stood there and folded each thing. Remember, she had a 3-foot pile worth of clothes. After 10 minutes of my manager and I trying to get her to leave and her not letting up, touch her clothes without her slapping our hands away, and yelling at other customers who tried working around her, she was done and left. Here comes the petty revenge. Emphasis on the petty. About a week later, she comes in again with another, slightly smaller pile of clothes. She plops her clothes down and says, "I hope you learn to fold clothes." This automatically puts me on edge. I look at her, take her stuff, scan it all through, and shove it all in one bag as one giant mass, set it on the counter. This time, she grabs it, calls me a few choice words, and leaves. I then send a message to all my coworkers about her and that they should do the same. A few weeks later, and I see her go through another line, and my coworker shoves all her stuff in a bag. This kept up every time she came in, and every time I'd see her get huffy and walk off. I know it's not some big amazing payoff, but to know that every time she came in, she would leave annoyed with her bagging. She still yelled at us all for anything and everything, but we always had that nice little F you as she left. Again, sorry about the length, but it's nice having a place to put this story. Ah yes, an endless form of petty revenge. That is always nice to see. She made her mistake and she's gonna pay for it for the rest of her life, and even beyond that. I'm sure we will find a way. Alright, this story's called
Once She Moves Out of the Way, Grab Them!
I ran to the store to get a few things on my lunch break today. I didn't have much time, but I still respect the protocols of the store, going down the aisles the proper way, social distancing, etc. A woman in the store kept going the wrong way down the aisles with her husband. She kept getting in the way of me and my boys and kept saying, "Can you move?" every single time. I can't stress enough that even with huge arrows, she kept specifically making it out like it was my mission to get in her way. I politely moved each time, and being an anxious person, even said sorry once or twice. Well, I get to the baking aisle and I see my friend again. Again, going the wrong way. Again, telling me to get out of her way. This time was special though. You see, this time, she tells her husband, referring to sauces, "Oh, they have a caramel and a dark chocolate left. Once she moves out of the way, grab them." They had one left of each. Did I know they existed before? No. Did I grab the last ones and also grab the chocolate caramel last, just in case? Absolutely. Edit. Just a quick edit to thank you all so much. I didn't expect this to blow up like it did. An arsonist's first excuse. I'm a little out of element here, but thank you again. I hope everyone had a happy, safe holiday, and though I understand it's a rough year, I wish you all good health, love, and prosperity in the upcoming year. Wow, I think we all will achieve those things. In fact, just to make sure that we all do, to anyone who doesn't, you owe me some pop. And I'm not talking about some stupid music that's also really catchy. I'm talking about carbonated beverages that taste good. None of that stupid Big Red crap. I hate Big Red, okay? I like cream soda, okay? Maybe it's just the color or something, but like blue cream soda and Big Red are gross and I hate them. But Dr. Pepper cream soda, ooh, that was good. This story's called Cruel Secret Santa Present. This happened a few years ago. Most of the office are part of larger teams with same reporting line, and there are a few smaller teams with random reporting lines. I fall under the latter. Colleagues in the smaller teams clubbed together and started our own Secret Santa with a 10-pound limit and 20 names in the hat. I happened to pick out an awkward and obnoxious colleague who would take the piss at every given opportunity. He's also a football fan, called me out on a few occasions, and knowingly stitched me up where I couldn't retaliate. Fast forward to petty revenge. Gift time! We all met in a meeting at the office, enjoyed a glass or three of bubbly and nibbles. Oh my god, ew. All the gifts were handed out, and I sat opposite the obnoxious one. He insists gifts should be opened in order of those sat on his side of the table. He would be the third one to open his gift. As he gleefully started to open his gift, I had to avoid eye contact in order of giving away the game. The delight in his eyes soon vanished and replaced with horror and anguish as he held in his hands an Arsenal Football Club calendar, year annual, and a mug. As others laughed, he sullenly stood up and walked out of the room, crestfallen with his tail between his legs. He happens to support Tottenham Hotspurs. Oh my god. North London rivals of Arsenal. Woo! Go Sports! Yes, I know this was cruel, but it's a mere smidge compared to his shenanigans. The following year, he opted out of Secret Santa. Edit. Oh, wow! Thank you so much for the awards. What is with British people, okay? Not just you English folk, okay? I'm talking about all y'all in them British Isles, alright? What is with what you name things, okay? That's it. But I will say Arsenal is a cool name, and it has been, I guess, if I think about it, in my top 50 coolest words that I know. And I first heard that word, or I guess encountered that word, on the case of a game that I got for Christmas you might be familiar called Ratchet and Clank Up Your Arsenal. That is such a good game. I kicked ass. Sorry, arse at that game. Alright, this story's called Laugh After Parking Like an Ass. Both my car and myself are a whole lot smaller than you are. I drove, my car is currently across the country, a 1991 Honda Civic hatchback. Tiny little girl, and I love her. I once had to do the old miss the spot, loop back around dealio. The thing is, the person on the left was parked right on the line. The person on the right had left, but an SUV was pulling into that spot, so I still had a spot, thankfully. While I was waiting for them to finish so I could pull in easily, I noticed there was a passenger who got out before they pulled in. The person on the other side of them was close to the line, but they still had plenty of room. I could still fit, but there would be no room at all, even for my skinny little ass to open a door. Neither one of them was in any way small, and they took their sweet, sweet time getting out. When they realized I was waiting, they looked back and laughed. I'm glad they stayed to watch me pull in. My parents were really good drivers and taught me how to park, so I just smiled and pulled right on in, popped the back, and climbed out. Gotta love hatchbacks. I shut the back, dusted off my knees, smiled at them, and left. They were livid, and it was priceless. Sadly, I took too long in the store, and they were gone by the time I got out. I'm guessing the person on their right left before them, so one of them had to fight their way into the driver's seat. Please note, before anyone gets angry at me, my mother is a larger woman, and I normally wouldn't do this, much less be happy about it. I was going to ask nicely if they could move over just a little, until they distinctly laughed at what they thought was something I couldn't pull off. Wanna be a prick? I'll match you. OP, glorious, flawless, perfectly executed petty revenge. You sure showed them. Alright, this story's called You Wanna Keep Us Up All Night? Okay, but this is a repost, but today is Jeff's 61st birthday and I wrote this to send to some friends. It was pretty popular the last time. Jeff and I were spending a Saturday night at the Shepherd Mountain Inn in Arcadia, Missouri, I'm assuming. We'd had dinner and a couple of drinks at Bailey Joe's Barbecue, the great barbecue place next door, and we're going to bed early. We'd had a few days of great riding in Moar, Missouri, and Arkansas. Ayo, I was right. And we're planning on getting up around 5 a.m. to get a good start on the 250-mile ride home the next day. One problem though. There was a wedding party staying at this dive motel. It was pouring rain and they were right outside of our window under the overhang, partying like it was 1999. I don't blame them. It's a wedding on Saturday night. We left them be. But this went on for hours, and about 1:30 a.m. I stepped outside and asked them if they would move down a few rooms as we were getting up early. They politely agreed. But in fact, they did not move, and the party finally petered out around 3 a.m. Did I mention we were getting up at 5? Whatever. Into each life, some rain must fall. So Jeff doesn't set an alarm. He just wakes up and showers. At 5 a.m., he shakes me awake and says, "Time to get up." That is literally all he said. I start to get up, and all of a sudden, there is a massive pounding on the wall from the room next door. "Keep it down in there!" From, you guessed it, the revelers from last night. I looked at Jeff, and Jeff looked at me. It was on! We quietly got ready, got all our gear on, loaded the bikes, and went outside. We then rolled our bikes right to where the exhaust pipes were touching the door of our new friends. Jeff fired up his Harley and I fired up my Yamaha. We proceeded to rev the motors rather unjudiciously for a bit. Then I went back into the room, turned the TV on full blast, locked the door, and off we went. When we stopped for gas a few miles later, Jeff and I exchanged a smirk, and Jeff said something intended for the revelers that stuck with me ever since. Don't try to out-butthole me. I'm better than you at it. Edit. We were on the end room of a one-story motel. Revelers were next door. I think most of the rest of the people staying there were wedding guests also, but can't be sure. Collateral damage, I guess. Freaking rednecks. Oh my god. OP, y'all did some good there. See, with a group of rednecks, you're either gonna have a really good time because collectively they're super nice, okay? They all bring out the niceness in each other because, you know, that whole sense of community. Or you're gonna have a horrible time and everyone's gonna creep you out. Alright, this story's called I Keep a Door Locked at Work. Okay, so this isn't necessarily bad, but I do get a kick out of it and a little bit of petty satisfaction. There are like 6 doors at the entrance of the building where I work security. I'm filling in for first shift, which means it's up to me to open the building up for everyone in the morning and just do various first shift tasks before everyone gets there. On my regular shift, all but one door is locked after public hours, and I get these drunk buttholes that work in the building trying to open every single door, while I am clearly trying to direct them towards the one that they have to open, which they should know since they've worked here for years. They do this almost every single night since the bars are right around the corner. Yes, even with Provid, no one in my city gives a single crap about it, unfortunately. Anyway, I used to love my job, but after going out of my way for the people in the building and still being belittled and treated like an idiot by a bunch of lawyers and accountants, I hate it. There are only 6 people max that stop and say hi and chat with me. One makes me brownies and cookies because she's a sweetheart. And I like watching the others run into the door. I don't know why, but almost everyone uses that freaking door and I just don't bother to unlock it in the mornings. I know that it probably sounds stupid to think that I could find this very small act to be satisfying, but it is just a bunch of dummies ramming into the glass door like birds. That's something I would do. Both sides of this. I would run into the door and laugh at people running into the door, because that's a funny thing. Just that situation as like a whole is just funny from anyone's perspective. Alright, this story's called Mother and Daughter Don't Follow Social Distancing Rules. Ends up regretting it. This is a short story, so sorry. Also, not sure if it belongs here. I'm at my pharmacy getting some meds, and the lines are pretty long. Due to social distancing, we're trapped into the aisle. Here, I'm just trying my hardest to stay out of the aisle, but also be socially distant when 2 people walk up behind me and stand really close. No problem. I inch forward. They're still standing close. Now, it's important to note that I'm a fairly non-confrontational person, so I didn't want to speak up and say something. I'm just standing there hoping they'd read my mind or something. I don't know. They aren't moving any direction at all. I'm getting a little annoyed when all of a sudden I fart. And again. This time, I'm really embarrassed and say, "Excuse me." I notice they're further back. Then another one slips out. This time, it happened as I turned and apologized directly to them, looking them dead in the eye. They were 6 feet away. Edit, thanks for the super like, and all the other likes, of course. Edit 2, figures my most awarded and upvoted post is about farts. Thanks, guys. Oh no, thank guys. What did guys do? What did we do? I'd be willing to accept the thanks, but I don't know what I did to deserve it. What did we do? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to never miss an episode.